If you are a coach, a creator, a freelancer, you probably work with clients. Let's hope so. And when you are working with clients, it can be really difficult to set the right boundaries, to manage expectations, and to make sure your clients actually show up to the appointments you have scheduled. So, in this episode, I'm going to teach you all about how to manage your client boundaries, cancellations, and no-shows. Hello, and welcome to the Fast Forward Amy Show, the show where we talk about how you can lift your life and business with simple strategies. I'm Fast Forward Amy, your host and coach, and I'll bring you a new episode every Tuesday. Today we're going to be talking about clients and boundaries and cancellations and all of that shit, because when you have a service-based business, for example, when you are a coach, a creator, I'm thinking like wellness coach, photographer, when you work in that sector, let's say, it can be really fun and really satisfying to work with the right people, but it can also make you want to strangle someone when it's not going the way you want to. Because you have probably started out from the perspective of wanting to help people, right? You have a gift, you can take really great photos, or you're really good at coaching people, and you were like, okay, I'm gonna start my own business, I have my business, this is what you can pay me, please pay me and I'll help you. And before you know it, you are drowning in messages from clients all over the place. You're not just getting emails, you're getting midnight messenger messages, you're getting iMessages, you're getting WhatsApps, people even leave you voice notes, and you are starting to go slowly cuckoo because you can't handle it anymore. Today we're going to talk about how you can take your power back, set the right boundaries from the get-go, or repair the boundaries you didn't have right now, and also how you can prevent cancellations and no-shows from said clients. And hopefully we can make sure that after this episode you have a few go-to things that you can start applying, so that from now on you won't feel overwhelmed by your clients anymore and by communication, but you'll feel like you are in control of your business instead of your business being in control of you. This is episode 89, and that means that if you want to read the recap, because you can't take notes as we are doing this, that you can go ahead and read the notes through fastforwardamy.com/89. Just the same as always, we have the episode number attached to our website name, and there you can find all of the recaps of all of the episodes with the tips. Okay, I'm gonna go through a bunch of tips. I don't know how many, I will be honest with you, because I have a paper full of scribbles. The first thing I wanted to say is, what you want to make sure what you do when you have a service-based business is you want to prevent over communication. So in the beginning, often you are so happy that you have so many clients, or you're starting to attract clients, and you're like, whatever way you want to let me know what time is right for you, just let me know. Don't do that. Do not do that. You want to be really clear about which channel you use for your communication in your business. You want to be really mindful from the get-go how you're going to go about that. You do not, under any circumstances, want to hand out your phone number to all the people. Don't do it. Also, don't put it online if you don't need to. Obviously, you can get a business phone or like a landline in your office, whatever. But I would make sure that just communicating by phone isn't necessarily your go-to. Now, there are exceptions to this rule, because what I've seen in the past is when I give all of these tips and I'm like really straightforward about what you should and shouldn't do, that people go a little bit overboard with my tips and they fail to see in which scene they're actually operating. Let's say you're a real estate agent. I do want to be able to reach you by phone because I'm like, this is urgent, this is pressing, I need to be able to call you. You need to call me back if you're a real estate agent. A doctor too. Doctors, I would love if you could just make an online appointment with any type of doctor, but also sometimes you just really want to get on the phone and be like, hello, can I please reach a human that can help me out with this problem, because I don't know if I'm dying or not. So be mindful that maybe you do need to give out your phone number is the first thing I am saying. But what we want to do is we want to manage over communication. I'm going to give you an example, and I'm going to show you why you might be overwhelmed by all of the different channels people are texting you through or voice messaging you. The worst. I hate voice messages. So for example, you know the Pavlov reaction? So you have a dog. I think the dog is called Pavlov, or the scientist who did the experiment was called Pavlov, or the experiment was called Pavlov. I should have done my research before I recorded this. But basically the experiment was like, there are dogs, and every time we bring them food, they start salivating, and they started ringing this bell. and every time they brought the food, they would first ring the bell and then bring the food. And the dogs would start drooling over the fact that they were going to get the food. And after a while, they would just ring the bell and don't hand out the food, but they would see that there was still a lot more saliva present in the dogs. This is what you are probably doing with your clients. You might be like, please, please, please email me. But in effect, when they text you, you might be teaching them that you are much quicker to respond through text than you are through email. That is your first, not your home run, that is your first penalty or whatever. You shouldn't do that. If you're adamant that you do everything through email and that works for your audience, then make sure that you also reply fast through email and that you are very consistent. Because if you then start overstepping and texting them back, they will never start emailing you if you're much quicker to reach through text, because that's when they start drooling. Get what I'm saying? So you want to manage your own over communication, and I see that the biggest problem in this is not your clients, but you are the problem. I am sorry to say that. By the way, I made this intention. I set this intention of being more me in the podcast and being more like I am in coaching calls. So, hello, this is your coach speaking. I am not. We would say we don't take a leave in front of the mouth in Dutch. I'm just gonna be super straight up with you. So you want to educate your clients, and that starts with you. What we say with kids is monkey see, monkey do. If you overstep, if you start over communicating through all of the different channels, your clients are gonna do the same thing. Think of the dogs, think of the monkeys. Don't do it. Pick one channel and stick to it. On that same note, my second tip is you wanna be very trustworthy. So I used to run a fitness business, a fitness coaching business, and I saw a lot of clients every week. And I almost never ever canceled or asked to reschedule. So what will happen often is you'll have this morning of clients. Let's say you have a client at 9, at 10, and at 11. And you have 3 clients planned in. And then at a certain point, the 10 a.m. client will cancel, and it'll be like, I could go to the store at 9, or I could sleep in, or whatever. This would suit me better. So I'll ask the 9 a.m. client if they can come in at 10 a.m. so I have more time. No. Bad dog. You can't do that, because then you are teaching your clients that it's okay to reschedule, and you are actually telling them you are not super trustworthy. So I would just basically never do that unless someone is very sick, like a kid is sick or you are sick or whatever. But I would then just be like, okay, make sure you stay productive in the slot between 10 and 11, but you're never going to ask your clients to reschedule, because the moment you start asking them to reschedule, they're going to start rescheduling, okay? That's, again, it's just like what goes around comes around. Justin Timberlake. You think I'm very bad at songs and names of songs and singers, so I'm not entirely sure. Look at the team. Justin Timberlake, yes, I was correct. Okay, so you need to be very trustworthy and reliable. For example, I had my hair and makeup done today. The person who does my hair and makeup, who's also in the room with me, looking at me to see if I'm still okay to be on camera, she's super trustworthy. That's also a value that I value a lot, is like trustworthiness, reliable, all of that. So I love working with her because she's always here on time and she will never cancel unless she's dying. That's why I love working with her. Also because she's nice and kind and all of that. But see, that's something I really value. You might not value it, but I would suggest that in your service-based business, you start valuing it, because it's going to be really important to to have the right quality in your service-based business. Okay, so we had managing over communication and being trustworthy and reliable. That also means that you want to stick to your promises. If you tell a client you're going to send them something by a certain time, do it. As I'm saying this, I want to facepalm myself, because I just realized I used to be very good at that with my clients. And until I got overwhelmed and was holding up too many balls in the air, and then I got better at it again. But now I'm in this position with my team where I really want people to be on time. I really want people to do as they say by the time they say they're gonna do it, but I am not adhering to this. So it's been one of the biggest challenges for me, is actually get to this point where I can be a good leader and I'm growing in it, but again, there it's also monkey see, monkey do. You gotta practice what you preach. You gotta walk the talk. There are so many things I can say about this. If I want my team to respect their deadlines, I gotta respect my deadlines. If I want them to respect their promises, I gotta respect my promises. So I think here a lot of what goes around comes around is really important. What you also want to do with your see, I keep learning from my own podcasts. That's nice. A lot of the things that I have seen in the past with my clients, when I still saw a lot of clients in person, offline, I see coming back now in managing a team, actually, because you are coaching. When you're doing it right, you're coaching people. That's what I used to do in my fitness business. Then I did it with my business coaching clients, and now I do that with my team members. And there will always be room to grow. That was not one of the takeaways here, but maybe it should be. When you are trying to set boundaries, when you're trying to prevent client cancellations, you will fuck up. You will realize like, oh, I've been communicating that the wrong way. Or Amy, yeah, you're right. I have been rescheduling stuff and I shouldn't. Or I have been replying at 11 p.m. because it gives me anxiety when I see that message coming in. It's okay. The key is just that we're going to be learning from it right now and we're going to improve as we go. And I'm going to tell myself the same thing with me and my team. Okay, so growing was the next tip. And then next up is, especially in a service-based business, when you have multiple appointments, I would suggest you plan ahead and you plan a minimum of 2 appointments ahead. And even if you, for example, are a videographer and you shoot with the same people often, I'm looking at our videographer, he could make sure that whenever he plans in a shooting day with us, he doesn't just plan in 1 day, but 2 days. Because if something happens and we cancel the first day, he knows that we're going to see each other again that next day. And he always has like a little, like he has control over the fact that we're not going to fall out of his like customer basket. For example, if you're a fitness coach and there's a vacation coming up, with moms, you can make sure, you can assume that the week after the vacation, they really want to work out, but they're going to be overwhelmed, they're going to be busy, and they might cancel on you the week after they get back from a vacation. So what you want to do is you want to plan ahead and you want to plan in a minimum of 2 next appointments so that when the first one can't continue, you can actually go towards the second appointment. I was slightly falling over my words just now because I hear someone making noise in the hallway and it's my kid. So I'm gonna try and stay focused here. So yeah, you want to plan ahead a minimum of 2 appointments. That really saved a lot in my fitness coaching days because people don't want to cancel, but it's gonna happen. So make sure you have a fail-safe there. Then, big tip, very big tip. You want to make it easy. And this is, I think there's this video of Family Guy where Peter Griffin is like, you want to know what grinds my gears? This grinds my fucking gears. You gotta make your communication easy. And I certainly still make mistakes about this, but if you were like, I do everything through email, I don't want an online planner, and you're like, when would you like to meet up again? No one is gonna respond. No one knows when they would like to meet up. People look in their calendar like, can't then, too many options. I'll ignore Amy. What you want to do in your communication is you want to do the this or that communication. So what we just did is we found baby kitties in our garden, right? Baby kitties, super cute. 5, 3 gray ones, a white one, and then like reddish. And my plus daughter, she asked my dad, so which one of the kitties do you guys want? She didn't ask, do you guys want a kitty? She basically didn't give my dad any other chance than saying, I'll take that kitty. Because she said, would you like the gray one or the white one? There wasn't an option to say no. So what you want to do with your clients, you don't want to be like, oh, thank you for letting me know that you're scheduling. When would you like to meet up? No. Would you like to meet up again Friday at 10 or Saturday at 9? And then if I look at that and I'm like, I have an appointment there, but I can move around my appointment. That will actually cost me less time than thinking about what time it would suit me to meet up with you, because it never suits me to meet up with you. It's just about making it work, right? So on top of that, you don't just want to suggest people time slots. So people will be asking me all the time, be like, when would that suit you? I'm like, can anyone make a decision? Just tell me. left or right. It's much easier to make decisions when you can say yes or no, left or right, 10 or 9, 12 or 1, pink or blue, instead of which color would you like? This photo or this photo, instead of, hey Amy, let me know which photo you like. You know, you see how we make everything a lot easier? Instead of, for example, I teach a lot of people this. It's just that when you are sad that your clients aren't coming back to you or they're not replying to your emails, I feel like I'm going overboard now, but it's probably because you're just making it too difficult for them to communicate with you, and you got to be a little bit more assertive, and people will actually appreciate it. And I always give the example of this actually to my team members. I just gave it yesterday to someone on the team. I was like, so I'm a fairly dominant person. If you do a personality test, I have a lot of dominance. I also have a lot of like the influence, the creativity, all of that stuff. I'm not hyper dominant. Not everything needs to go my way, but when no one is making a decision, I'll make a decision. So when we walk into a restaurant, and I don't care at which table we sit, but if no one decides at which table we sit, I'll be like, we're gonna take that table. So if no one is making a decision, you need to make a decision or present the options so people can make faster decisions, resulting in you seeing your clients more, having happier clients because they're getting better guidance or they're taking more photos or whatever, and you're gonna get better reviews and more clients. And it's a ripple effect. You just gotta make it easy for people. And that's what I was saying. Gotta make it easy. So either you give options, but also you can give deadlines. So if you're like, would Friday at 10 or 1 suit you? Bye! Just let me know whenever before Friday, 10 a.m. No! You gotta be able to plan your week. So you can be like, would Friday before 10 a.m. suit you, or otherwise Friday at 4 p.m.? Let me know by tonight, 8 o'clock, and then I plan it in. Otherwise, I need to let go of the slot. You can, if you say that to me, you're my fitness coach, I'll probably move something around so I can say yes on one of the things. I'll also feel super committed to that decision. So give options and place deadlines on what you're asking from people so they actually know how to reply. One more thing, by the way, use question marks. If you're just like, here's information, no one is gonna reply. So I'm in 2 different Slack channels, plus I have hundreds of clients I'm coaching. If someone lets me know something that is not clearly a question, I'm like, there was no question mark, this is not a question, I'm not even replying. Sometimes I'll ask people on my team like, what's the question? Or are you just sharing and you want me to listen? Or what is your question? Often they just want to share, by the way, which is fine. Also, I'm not a total bitch. It might seem like that right now, but I'm speaking from years of experience in managing clients, and sometimes it just baffles me how difficult people make it for themselves. But yeah, what's really important for your clients as well is that you give autonomy, and that means that you don't want to be like, oh, I'll reschedule this for you, or I'll do this for you, because then they don't have any control and they can't proceed with you in the future. So you want to teach autonomy. For example, you could use an online planner. Be like, yeah, you can just schedule in whenever you want to come. Or you can just find all of the files here so that they don't have to like cling to you for every single thing. Same with kids, by the way. You want to not just give them the fish, you want to teach them to fish, I think. But what's important there again is I've seen that over the years. I've been preaching the use of online appointment calendars a lot. And that has also resulted in people starting up their business not giving any availabilities or giving off the vibe that you actually want people to book an appointment. So that's the important one. You still want to make sure people can book something with you. So I definitely think that when you are starting out and you are less in demand, like you're looking for clients, you don't have a lot of clients yet, do make sure it's really easy, and do maybe not use an online calendar. Just make sure that they can come and book an appointment with you, right? If you're at a point in your career where you're widely requested, you have so many requests and applications and whatever in your inbox, and you have very little time, then you can make it a little bit more difficult for people to book with you, because there might be a reason behind it. But in most cases, I would say use an online planner, yes, but don't make it so that people feel like they have to go through 7 hoops of fire in order to book an appointment with you, right? Don't just set it up and never test it. Make sure you can look at, if you have 50-year-old clients and you only use an online appointment calendar, I'm sorry, that was actually probably fairly rude to 50-year-old people listening to my podcast. My dad is gonna hate me. He just told me he listens to my podcast more than I listen to his podcast, so I think this is the actual test. No, just again, make sure you know what the landscape is, right? Is this someone who will book something through this online calendar? If not, you want to do something else. My grandpa was very upset about online banking. He's recently gotten into online banking, so we've passed that point now, but I think a lot of people are still not doing online banking on their smartphone because they can't even read what's on the screen. They'll still go to their local bank. Imagine banks don't exist anymore. Where are they going to be able to like withdraw money? Or you can't withdraw money on your phone either way, but whatever. So when you have an online planner and you're using your online planner, if applicable to your audience, you can also look at having a cancellation limit. So I fully respect that if I cancel my massage within 24 hours, I'm gonna have to pay for it. I also don't mind if I cancel my personal training session or I have a full day of recordings planned and I'm like, that morning, hey, I'm sick, we can't. Or maybe with the recordings, I'd be like, I'm such a good customer, you should just give me one Joker card. But in general, we can all realize that within those 24 hours, it will be very difficult for your service-based business provider to look for a replacement, right? And that time isn't going to be, how do you say that? They're not going to get paid for their time. So what you could do if you have your own service-based business and you've been noticing a lot of cancellations last minute, I would be very firm about it from the beginning. And when you are doing intake calls and when you are setting appointments with people from the get-go, I would say I have a cancellation limit. For example, it's 36 hours, 24 hours, 12 hours. And when you cancel within that time frame, you can still cancel, but you will have to pay a fee. It could be the full fee, it could be half the fee. It doesn't matter. What you don't want to do, you don't want to be a little bitch about this and not tell them. So most people will be like, I put it in my contract and everyone signs the contract. No one reads the contract. No one reads it. You gotta be upfront. You gotta be confident enough. If you are selling your service, you will also have to put on your big girl pants and actually tell them at the first appointment and be like, if you cancel within 24 hours, I will charge you that at our next appointment or automatically, whatever. What you don't want to do is you don't want to be like, hey, you canceled, I charged it, and then have people be like, what? Same as if you have an hourly rate and you go overtime with your clients and you charge them for the extra half hour, you want to talk to them about that beforehand. People never like being charged afterwards. Even if it makes sense in your eyes, they're not in your business. They don't know what you're doing. You always need to give them a heads up, okay? Just putting it in your, like, what's all the contract stuff called? You know, the legal forms. Just putting it in the legal forms doesn't matter. Almost no one reads them. I tend to not read them. I have someone reading them though. And sometimes I'll read them. And you learn a lot from reading them, by the way. Okay, so I would suggest you have a cancellation limit. Also a Joker card, because they could fall ill, their kid could fall ill, you could fall ill, whatever. But also tell them, right? So cancellation limit with a Joker card. And also tell them, don't just assume they know. They are not in your business. Their entire life does not revolve around you, right? It's your business. You bear the responsibility to tell them. Use reminders if you have an online system, or even if you don't, you can just send out weekly reminders because sometimes people will just forget. They might have a calendar glitch. They might not have written it down. I used to do this manually. Every Monday, I would just send out a bunch of messages to all of my clients and tell them that day and that day we have an appointment. See you then. I read this study a few years ago about gyms where the personal trainers sent out reminders to their clients or not. I think they were able to have like a 40% recovery rate of cancellations or no-shows just by sending out the reminders. So I would think that is huge, right? Because even if you get paid for the cancellations, it's not good. Clients don't feel great about having to pay for something they canceled or forgot. So again, our goal is happy business, happy clients. We can do that by delivering a great service. We can only give them a great service if they actually show up. So we need to help them show up. It's the same with a webinar. If you want to host a really great webinar, you want people to attend. If you want people to attend, you're going to have to remind them. So don't just look at people coming in for the first time, walking through your shop or your massage parlor or signing up for your webinar. the work is not done. You need to make sure that they can attend so that then they can become raving fans about your brand. And then word of mouth wise, you will get a lot of clients in. I built my first business, well, my first real business, purely on word of mouth advertising. I didn't have a big Instagram account. I had nothing to do with online marketing. I just built it from the ground up, just purely word of mouth. So it can be done if you offer a great service. Oh. Hey, sorry. This is future Amy. Just wanted to quickly just have a minute of your time. I know past Amy was talking and this is future Amy, but we need to have a little chat because we have a problem. Our Business Freedom Elevator pre-order sold out in the past week, and I just wanted to let you know that if you missed it, don't sweat it because we still have a different discount coming up at the end of the month, but we're currently closed. So if you have been hearing me talk about the Business Freedom Elevator and you're like, Amy, I really want to join your program, you can get on the wait list. Go to fastforwardamy.com/elevator, register there if you haven't already, and keep an eye out for the end of this month when we're releasing new bonuses and a different discount. It might not be as high as a pre-order discount, but I promise you it's still gonna be worth it. So fastforwardamy.com/elevator. Sit tight because I hope to welcome you soon in the program. And now I'm gonna stop wasting your time and I'm gonna hand it back to past Amy. And then what I would also suggest you do is that you use an autoresponder in emails and messages to manage expectations. Managing expectations is actually something you always want to be doing. But for example, let's say, so for example, my dad feels like when you email, you should reply within 0.2 seconds. I don't use email. I don't like email. My dad really feels like if you are a business and you wait more than 6 hours to reply to an email, well, like for him it's like you died. I'm like, in 2 months I'll reply. No, that's not true. But I have an autoresponder in my email saying like, hey, I don't actively use this and probably once a week I'll check it. Actually, I have my assistant managing my inbox. I don't hand out my email address to anyone anymore. Nor do I hand out my phone number. Basically, I'm unreachable. The only way to reach me is to tune in every Tuesday for the Fast Forward Amy show. And also you can find me on Instagram as @FastForwardAmy, where I live. So you can implement an autoresponder in emails and messages. For example, people contact you through your Facebook page, your email, your Instagram, whatever. You can implement an autoresponder where you manage their expectations. You could either tell them, please send me a different message on that channel, or you can say, I'll respond within this time frame to you. Stick to your word, obviously, but manage your clients' expectations. Here again, you can shift. If you are actively searching for clients and you really need the cash flow, you could maybe try the different channels and try to just respond to everything frantically in the middle of the night. I applaud that. Hard work to set up your first business, yeah. But if after a while you're like, oh my God, we have an overflow of clients, then you especially want the clients who can actually definitely respect your boundaries and know how to do that in a decent way, and who don't expect you to reply on a Saturday at 11 p.m. through Instagram DMs. So use an autoresponder to kind of manage those expectations and redirect people if necessary. And last but not least, repeat. All of these things, the cancellation fee, how to communicate, what they can expect, when they are coming over for an appointment, repeat it. For the longest time, so I have my messages turned off on Instagram, actually on my stories, because I get overstimulated by all of the messages, and I really love educating and inspiring, but I know that I can't reply to every single person, so more often than not, they will be turned off. But I also want to make sure that my clients feel seen and heard and appreciated. And let's say someone doesn't have a login and they just paid 2,000 euros for a course, and they missed their login. It might be in their spam. They might have just filled out the wrong email address. It doesn't really matter. If they did anything wrong, it doesn't matter. I want them to be happy clients. So for example, especially during a launch, in my stories, we will put up like twice a week, have any questions, lost an invoice, can't get into your login, email us, team@fastforwardamy.com. We will reply. If they have specific questions in the DMs, we will reply, hey, can you please send us an email so we can help you out. Repeating how they can reach you. Don't just put up a wall and be like, I don't want clients. No. Make sure that they can reach you just the right way and make it easy for everyone involved. Repeat. On that note, if you're like, hey, Amy, those systems that you talk about, like an appointment calendar, that might be interesting. I created this systems Bible that we continuously update about the systems that I used to use in my business and I'm currently using. And you can go and grab it for free through fastforwardamy.com/systems Bible. And I linked it up. And I highly recommend you go and check that out, because I used to spend hours and hours and hours on looking for the right systems, and like this system versus that system, and the one is $25 and the other one is $30. I've done all of that work for you, so you can actually focus on your clients, focus on getting them results and turning them into happy clients for your happy business. So you can just go ahead and grab that Systems Bible through fastforwardamy.com/Systems Bible. Now, wrapping up, I want to tell you something my dad used to tell me and my brothers when we were little. And he used to tell us, this was back in the day, I remember he had this phone. I actually think it was my mom's phone, but you could play Snake on it, and it was really fun. Me and my 3 brothers were like, yeah, can we have the phone to play with? And he used to say, texting is a one-way street. A lot of communication is a one-way street. When you send the text, even when you get a red notification or a delivery notification, when you call someone, when you send a DM, no matter what you do, unless you got a reply, unless you had two-way communication, you can never be certain that the message arrived. So make sure you always remember this. Don't be mad if someone is like, oh, I didn't respond because I didn't see it, and you're like, that can't be. It's a one-way street. So make sure you turn as much of your communication as possible into a two-way street. And for example, if you run a service-based business, you are a personal trainer, when you see people, make sure you have the next appointment set up. Don't be over communicating and texting afterwards. Make sure you just do everything in the moment so that there's not too much one-way street communication afterwards. Okay, I hope you liked this episode. I hope these were very practical tips for you to use. I sure as hell thought of a lot of stuff I used to do wrong, and then I grew in. This was episode 89, so if you want to read all of the different tips and find all of the links and things I have communicated in this episode, simply go to fastforwardamy.com/89. Have a happy day, and come and find me on Instagram to tell me what you thought of the episode by tagging me, like screenshotting and tagging me as @fastforwardamy, so I actually know if you care about this episode, so we can create a little two-way communication.